Next topic, guys. We got solutions in the market. You guys both have something you want to talk to about today, to the audience about ways they can affect change in their life personally right now by doing certain things in the mortgage space. So Memo, why don't you go first? Tell us, what did you bring today? What are we going to talk about?
Well, some of the solutions is like, it's not tailored to everyone. The numbers got to make sense, but obviously you have to have the right documentation, everything to really figure out what's the best solution in this case. So in my solution case was great. And we found it to be very lucrative for the actual client. So we did a VA cash out back in 2021. We actually did a VA IRRRL. So we reduced his rate from, it was like 4% down to a 2.625% with a balance of 412. So he had a payment of $27.82, which is phenomenal. Like, hey, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, Murrieta. This is a great thing, right? So he was just getting a lot of debt. He's like, I have a lot of debt. My daughter got an incident. I just feel like I'm paying too many payments. I just want to get out of this. I want to leverage my home and the equity that I have in there in order to just kind of feel like less burden. So what we ended up doing is we did a cash out. We got about $105,000 for him so he can pay off some debt. The VA was cash out for $105,000, but that was also his debt. Okay. And the total monthly payments on that was $28.65 a month.
Whoa, out of pocket?
Yes.
Woo.
Right?
So $28.65?
Correct.
$28.65, okay.
So we ended up doing a new loan amount for $530,000, which took him to a 97.7% loan to value. That was about $118,000 cash out. Okay. So what we did is we're going to pay off the 105. Mm-hmm. Okay. So his old payment was $27.82.
Right.
Plus a $28.65 put him at $56.47.
$56.47. Yeah.
His new payment at 7% interest is actually $4,419. And it sounds like, what the heck? We went really high.
Whoa.
Really high. So if you go $56.47 minus the $44, that's $1,228.
Yeah, that's a huge
savings
swing.
a month.
That's almost exactly what his was last week, which his was $1,300.
Yeah.
$1,228. So $1,228 of monthly out of pocket to the better, to their benefit.
Yeah, to their benefit. So that's and so he took the whole thing like, I'm going to go refinance. I'm going to owe more on my home. The way he looked at it is, I don't have car payments. I don't have credit card payments. I don't have all this payment. And so here, it doesn't stop here, guys. So not only does he save money there, so we actually do a mortgage accelerator calculator. It kind of looks like this. I got a calculator. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll put it up on the screen. So with the VA funding fee, it's not $530. It took it to $547 because remember, the subsequent use, active, takes it 3.3%, although it sounds like, whoa. So my thing is always reinvest back into yourself. Don't utilize that $1,228 and say, okay, now I can go and get more credit card debt. No, on the contrary, reinvest in yourself, right? So if he reinvested in himself and just said, I'm going to put the $1,200 back and put it towards my mortgage, on your mortgage payment, you could actually get right there, pay additional towards principal. Well, do the $1,200. Okay.
Well, because he's already paying that out of pocket anyways.
That's correct.
It's a net gain for him monthly out of pocket, but he's used to paying that because of the credit card debt. But
That's
paid
correct.
It off. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. So with that said, I show that he will be back. He will owe $412. Remember, that's his current balance, $412 and change. Mm-hmm. In 5.5 years, he'll be at $412,797.
Oh, wow.
How long does it generally take to pay off credit card debt and all that? The norm
you're talking 20 or more.
Usually they say it's about 13 plus years, right?
Yeah, but let's be real. With people we talk about, they are 13 minimum.
Yeah. So in 5.5 years, he'll be back where he's at.
That's
currently
crazy.
But check this out. It doesn't stop there, right? Because when you have the right tools and you show you really start helping the consumer visualize how much better off they'll be. Okay. So if they continue to make that payment all throughout, they will pay off their house in 15 years and a half.
So they pay it off faster if they just do that? Of course,
because it's all principal. You're continuing to pay,
that's half as fast.
That's correct. That's $1,200 going. That's a savings, Andy, of $414,293 in interest savings.
That's insane. That's like the whole balance that you started with.
Exactly.
I mean, it's almost exactly the $2,000 difference.
So although it sounds like a bad thing, hey, I'm going from a 2.6% interest rate to a 7%. Whoa, like that's crazy. I didn't stop there. I'm going to get the other gold nugget. What's going to happen to interest rates? What goes up
must come down.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to come down. So I used the figure of, let's just use the same number that we're at, the 547, in another year, 2 years, when the rates go back down. And let's just say he gets a 4.875, his new payment would drop down to 3410. That's an additional $1,009.
That's another $1,000. Yeah.
Just imagine if you apply that back to that.
Well, yeah. Now you're not done in 15 years.
Shoot,
you're done
in 10,
12. Yeah.
And
The
math doesn't lie. The cool thing about this mortgage accelerator calculator that we have, it has the schedule of amortization, so it'll show you how it goes.
We're going to put that in the comment box. So there'll be a link directly to the mortgage calculator in the comment box if you're watching this segment of the show, so you can use this for your own benefit. Or also, if you have a scenario you want Will or Brian to run by, you can call or reach them by email, and they can actually run the mortgage, the home mortgage accelerator calculator with you.
Yeah. So that's what I use. If I can help you pay off your house in 15 years and save you about $300,000-$400,000 in interest, would that be something of interest? And they're like, of course. How do I do that?
That's super crazy because we get stuck in this little this conversation cycle, and even in the comments, oh, rates are high. How can you be telling people this? And that's not setting up. You guys are part of the problem. It's like, look, I can't. Look, this guy's already having this issue.
Yeah.
We could be helping this person solve their problem or not. We don't have to. Okay.
Yeah.
So all you trolls and haters, we don't have to do this, but we are, and we'll talk about it. So when you want to talk about helping people save their house, by the way, VA, which that means they're a veteran, right, Memo?
Correct.
Okay. So they're a veteran active duty military. You can be mad about us for that too. Here's my point. Don't be the person standing in the way of someone else getting help. If you also, on the other side of that coin, if you know somebody who needs help that could benefit from something like this, having a conversation, being honest and candid about it, and using math to make the decision, that's when you give us a call. That's when you give us a DM.
That's exactly right. I mean, hey, we have the proof. The proof is in the pudding. All the numbers are there.
I think it was beautiful the way that you broke everything down for them and shifted their mindset from saying, hey, I don't want to pay this because I'm going up higher. Yeah, everybody right now says higher is worse. But if you break it down and really give them the true math and the numbers, it's a no-brainer.
That's crazy because, I mean, look, if you tell someone they can save $414,000 and they have their house paid free and clear, that's something you actually have to consider. Like, you'd have to then have so much money that's not even worth your time considering to not consider it.
But here it comes, guys. I also had a hard time thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
Because I see, hey, you had a 2.625 at a 7%. Like, what the heck? But if you reinvest it in yourself, that's the power of it. Because now you're paying down principal. It's like the compounding and reverse compounding effect, which is in your favor now because you're paying down interest. You're saving more money by paying down principal, right?
Hey, that's a really quality point. I want to make sure people understand this. The rate doesn't tell the story, number one. Yeah. And number two, just as we look at compounding interest, it's not just about the interest rate itself, but it's time in the market that makes the biggest difference over time. Same in this situation. It's the time and the money you spend at that 1228 clip, adding that to your mortgage acceleration payoff, that gets you to that net result of paying it off in 15 and a half years versus 30. That's crazy.
And that's the difference too, when you're able to break this down and think about how do you reinvest in yourself. And most people talk about like, hey, you know what? I want to create generational wealth. Well, how do you create it? First, you have to get out of debt.
Yep.
Second, you have to understand where you're going to start investing in yourself. Right. And so we're talking about all this interest that you have in your home. Well, guess what? If you reinvest it in yourself and you continue to have a job, maybe later down the line, in case of emergency, break glass open, you refinance, you use some of those funds to place them in another investment vehicle. Now you have 2-3 vehicles are actually working for you, not against you. Yeah. Credit cards are vehicles that work
for you and against you, depending on how you use them.
For you just to buy it at that moment, but then they're always against you. You know what I mean? Because the rates get higher. And this is another thing what people don't understand on credit cards. And this is what's happening, obviously, with the history that we already talked about earlier, about credit card debt being at its highest level ever, historical high ever. People will surpass, if your credit limit is $1,000, they don't read the fine print. Right? Once you go at 1,001, 1,003, the credit card companies are like, Brian, please, thank you for charging that. Because now that interest rate that they said that it was going to be at 8 and change is no longer the case. Now it'll be at 32. Read the fine print. There you go.
Absolutely.
Read the fine print.
Yep, that's a good one.